well. But look at the time. This is where it all starts. Game number 1 is here. So Fallout, Vicky Kitty, take it away.
Thank you so much, Tiff, and hello, everybody. Welcome to Game 1. Welcome to ALGS Pro League. Day number 6, halfway past the halfway point, actually, in Pro League. So a point where every team needs to perform to try to make it into top 20, to make it to that regional final, an additional last Pro League day to earn more points. The goal overall is top 10. It will qualify for the Split 1 playoffs. I'm followed out alongside Vicky Kitty. Vicky, Game 1 is here. What are you most excited about?
I'm excited to see how this is going to play out at the very beginning of the World's Edge to Storm Point swap off. Yep. I feel like this is going to be so important. Very similar to what Tip was saying. Momentum is a key for a lot of these squads that don't rely on sitting in final circle positioning. The squads that like to play more edge works into some compositions better than others. And I feel like that's going to be super important with some of the teams like E6, like we highlighted, making swaps to their composition. They're no longer running the lifeline, something that was very interesting to see at the very beginning of the Emea Pro League. But now rocking the Seer, Horizon, and Valkyrie. So a lot of these other compositions playing way more into playing off of the edge, trying to find any stragglers, and trying to see how that's going to work out in favor for some of these squads that need to secure a lot of these points, not only with placement, but with KP.
That's right. I love that call out. Switch to World's Edge is huge. Some teams, well, they actually prefer and favor World's Edge, and you heard Kashera in his interview last week. What a great interview that was. But you heard him speak in particular to World's Edge, the importance of starting strong. And if you start strong, and if you're good at World's Edge, you have a chance to start strong. You can gain momentum. You can have a snowball that ends up turning into an avalanche and just kind of carry the rest of the way through. So we'll see if teams can go on full tilt here with World's Edge and really gain momentum that they need going into Storm Point. Taking a look at the overhead map here, it's, cookie cutter, what you expect. Looks like no major 50-50s, no one dropping Geyser. I think that Climatizer fight between Navi and Echo will be fairly civil. I don't think we'll see a lot of 50-50s early.
Yeah, definitely agree. There's the same could be said about Skyhook with E6 landing in Trials, splitting that up in the east side of Skyhook with V2, who are going to be able to rotate it very easily into this north circle that we're going to be seeing first off. Also expecting that beacon building north of Fragment West to be heavily contested early, because we do see that beacon easily contested for that next line of information from that next circle scan. So we're going to see a lot of these squads like BZN as we get to tune into one of our teams. This is the squad that is also running the very similar composition that we've been highlighting other squads in the Emea region that have been running. The Horizon, the Seer, and the Valkyrie that has been such a mainstay comp in this region.
Yeah, that's right. Taking over Overlook for Scars, who was notorious for dropping there. They switched over to Big Mod, so a lot of changes here. If you're used to watching LGS from last season, much like in North America, we saw a lot of teams kind of change up their drop spot. Same thing happened here in EMEA. Obviously, a whole new Scars roster, no longer playing with Mandy and RPR, and they're no longer dropping Overlook. VZN gets the entirety of Overlook to themselves as we take a look and flip on over to Reply Totem, dropping on the south side of the map in launch site. They actually did a split drop. This is going to be a really good loot situation for Reply Totem, and I gotta say, I think it'll help them for these late games. They're going to get all of Dome, and they're going to get all of launch site to themselves, because no one's dropping Dome. They recognize that. They're taking that extra loot. Obviously, the one member of Reply Totem that drops down there, it's either Amaze or I think it's actually Jazz. You need to be careful for Foot or Scars not to come down and 3v1 him, but if they can get away with that loot, they're going to be in a really good position. You see it right now, all colorful shields.
And my favorite scope too, the 2x4, as we can already see an early fight happening over by the north side of Lava Siphon. I believe this is Corpa versus Nightmare Esports, who are looking to get as aggressive as they possibly can. What a great way for Nightmare Esports to start building up some aggression, but you can see them try to fully send it onto this player. They left them literally one, so they're only seeing red, but they gotta watch out because Densei's got only 9 bullets in the R301. I mean, I get getting ahead of yourself, but sometimes you gotta call it quits if you need some extra loot.
Yeah, that's right. So that Lava Siphon drop is going to be split between Nightmare Esports, Corpa, and IG. So we have 3 teams dropping Lava Siphon. We said we might not see any early 50-50s, and we haven't, but guess what? That might change over these games because we have 3 teams in a really condensed area. Meanwhile, LFO Forever finds himself in a fight in the north side of the map here. It looks like they're going to be actually knocking a member of Scars early. That's Horizon knock Scars. Taishin gets one on Light, so it's a 2v2, but Horizon goes down as well.
Oh, this is such a risky fight to take, though, on the east side of Fragment East. You already know, looking at the circle, that so many of the squads are going to make an appearance. BZN now looking to clean things up, and it's Scars that are the first squad to get eliminated here. Expect other squads to now make their way into this next circle, but with BZN taking control over this fight, they can quickly reset and take nice R301, a gold R301, one of my favorite weapons, to actually start off the game very strong.
That's right. And if this was about a minute and a half, 2 minutes later in this game, you wouldn't have expected this aggressive of a third party because people would have known that more teams have already rotated. But this is early enough in game where you can actually play, and you have to have that kind of mental clock in the back of your head that says, okay, we got about a minute left before teams will be rotating. And teams obviously are used to these scrim lobbies. They play against these teams. They know when teams rotate, how fast they rotate. They have that mental clock in their head. And VZN recognize, hey, we can third party this, get a couple kill points, get some great loot. VZN in a great spot. And I got to say, Vicky, VZN, just one quick note on them, they are continuing to emerge as a improving team that's gaining a lot of momentum. They picked up Nags, and ever since they've looked great. The new British duo in Zane and Nags looking fantastic alongside VJ, the Iraqian controller player. Really excited to see how they continue to progress.
Gotta agree right there too, because after their last game performance, they were able to elevate themselves on the overall leaderboard, so sitting 21st, so they get to still stay for the split 2 of Pro League. And if it's only gonna go up for here for BCN, who knows where they're gonna be sitting by the end of the day today. As we take a look at Vex Gaming, they were taking some shots at E6, who took that jump tower, so that way they could get closer into that next circle. It looks like they're also wrapping around. They could easily circle keep Vex Gaming in that next circle if they already got that read on the next circle where it's blue.
Yeah, that's right. And interesting enough, we were talking about Nags and switched over to E6. Nags, the former third controller player for Element 6 alongside Slayers. Not sure exactly what happened on that roster, but a little bit of a change up after Champs. Nags leaves. They pick up Liffin, I believe Polish controller player on this team. And it looks like they're going to back out and hit reset on these train tracks because guess what? Alliance is there, and you got to know Alliance is nearby. They always are a hard edge fighting team and actually running Mad Maggie. So a change up in team composition. Its effect on Mad Maggie here. You know they're going to be playing edge. You know they're going to be looking to fight.
Yeah, they landed Thermal Station. They also had the hot spot, so they were able to get a lot of great loot exiting out of Thermal Station while they were making this rotation right past staging at the moment. They're trying to shoot at E6, who are just trying to run away. Remember, there was that squad that was already by Lava Fisher, that was Vex, who probably already made their rotation to countdown since that's where the circle was at. So Alliance, we're taking some shots. They're not going to fully send it right now. They're going to hold this spot right now because this is them claiming the space for the beacon. So they denied that opportunity for E6 to get that information, and Alliance are going to be able to continuously make this rotate into where they predicted the next circle is going to be pulling. But I love the swap up in the Mad Maggie composition. This makes it our second squad, I believe, in the Emea region Fallout that is running the Mad Maggie here.
That's right. You'd love to see it. A lot of teams have been running Mad Maggie as of late. Well, sorry, I wouldn't say a lot, a few. And Maggie is kind of trending upwards overall. But that's one thing I got to say about Alliance. I've always really respected their ability to really have a diverse play style, run diverse team compositions that fit their team's play style. Hockey's, again, I give him credit often, is one of the best IGLs in Apex. He's been given a variety of teammates over the years, and he adjusts his IGLing. He adjusts his leadership style to his teammates. There's a concept called KYP. Know your personnel. Know what your team is capable of. Know their strengths. Know their weaknesses. I love that Alliance is able to really reflect that, in effect being an absolute demon on controller, and they're changing their play style to play a lot more hard edge, and with Mad Maggie in the hands of Effect, I think they can be dangerous.
Absolutely, and they've had a lot of great results with Effect in the past too, with other third-party tournaments that they've been able to perform in. So they've also gotten a good amount of practice with Effect, incorporating him into this lineup as we look at some of the other squads that are playing outside of Circle. LFO Forever, one of our other teams, rocking the Crypto and Watson, another team composition that we've been seeing very frequently actually in the APAC region. Always interesting to see how the different compositions play out between region to region. We don't really get to see that very often in NA, basically little to no Crypto at all here, but LFO just gonna make their next move.
Oh, Lockie's gonna get knocked though. Mistimed the med kit just barely, but they'll be fine. Obviously, it's only zone 1, not taking a ton of damage. Keep in mind, this is the same LFO squad that actually lost Light, lost Horizon. Lackey was able to get all of the banners, recover them deep in zone in Geyser, which was unlooted, by the way. No one dropped there initially. A couple syringes dropped here early for Lockey, so he'll be able to heal back up. Then they'll leave with some decent loot in terms of meds that they need to get, but they're not going to be able to prioritize their shields, unfortunately. We'll see if they can get blue shields at least, leaving the situation.
Yeah, looking a little rough. They need those meds. I mean, look at Lackey. He's only got one med kit, one syringe that he's already going to be able to use up. Yeah, they got the replicator right there, so now they're going to be able to restabilize. But once they exit out of the circle, maybe they could try to get that beacon that's in no name to the east side of Fragment East. Not expecting any squads to try to contest them, since I think the priority here for those squads in Fragment at the moment are to make sure that they secure a building, seeing that there have been a lot of Watsons in this lobby between the Emea region. So trying to make sure you set up that perimeter is going to be a priority for those squads, so they don't really have to worry about getting circle kept once they make their way outside of Geyser.
That's right. They should be safe for now. We'll check back in on them and their journey a little bit later. Switching over to Game Ward. This is a team I've been pretty vocal about in broadcasts as a dark horse team coming into Pro League. How high is their high? How low is their low? We don't really know. It's a brand new team. YOLO, Aimbot, I think 17, 18, or 19-year-old French players that are new to the scene. One on keyboard and mouse, one on controller, and we thought maybe, just maybe, this could be the new kind of rising star squad playing with Psychop, a seasoned veteran, former Le Site de France IGL. I love the pickup of these two, but they haven't performed up to expectation. This is a team that is in a must-perform scenario in, I think, 20th, 21st, or 22nd place. They will not qualify if the Pro League ended today for that regional final, and certainly for LAN. And they're close to relegation as well. So all eyes on Game Ward if they can emerge as a top French team here in Emea. As we switching over to start a fight, one of our multinational team. I'm a big fan of Blast's and his career, his trajectory ever since leaving the original squad, which now became IG. He's found himself a really, really solid team with Doctor and Bambino, who's an absolute demon.
Yeah, start a fight. Another one of those squads that are on the cusp of the top 20. I believe they're sitting 19th overall in the leaderboards. Had a pretty average day the last time we got to see them perform in day number 5, and now looking to make a dent into the overall leaderboard so that way they can sit comfortably in the high end, since if they do poorly, they're at risk of being in the red where they would have to relegate to qualifiers as we tune into Aurora, the other squad that is rocking the Mad Maggie. I do believe we have 4 Mad Maggies in this entire lobby, so it is nice to see a lot of other squads in the Emea region try to take a page out of Aurora's book, because this was a squad that first started utilizing the Mad Maggie, and one of the only squads running the Wraith. I know you were very happy about that one, Fallout.
I was. I think they've abandoned Wraith ever since. But when they do run Wraith, they run it on Storm Point. We'll see if they do that here in Game 4. But for now, Maggie, Seer, and Valk. They're the team that really popularized it in the same way that in North America, Furia was the first team to run Fuse and Seer. Kind of started the Seer meta. Will Mad Maggie become a big part of the meta? We shall see. But certainly her stock is way up. 4 teams with Maggie, as you said. 5 teams with Crypto. 9 with Watson, of course, 10 with Sierra, 11 with Horizon, 18 with Valkyrie with a 90% pick rate overall. We also have Fuse, Caustic, Bloodhound, and there's 1 Wraith on the map as well.
Yeah, I actually believe that 1 Wraith is Aurora, so it looks like they are sticking to that, at least on the World's Edge when it comes to
they are,
rotations.
okay.
Yeah, which is very interesting, obviously, when it comes to some of these rotations. Obviously, that get-out-of-jail card being the Skyward Dive from the Valkyrie. The fact that Aurora doesn't have the Valkyrie means that they need to prioritize their rotations. Ranches takes a good amount of shots from the squad that's shooting at them at that choke point and leaving Harvester, but having to be very careful right here, because this is where a lot of action could go down from the squads that are already taking control of the construction building over by Fragment West.
And these are 2 teams that want to fight, both rocking Mad Maggie, so it'll be a Maggie off here long range, a little bit of standoff between Aurora and Alliance. Will they end up fighting? We shall see. Aurora, one of the only teams in all of ALGS to run a recon-less legend. What does that mean? Well, none of their legends are recon characters who can scan beacons. They don't even care about understanding where zone's going. They are committing fully to playing hard edge, unlike Alliance with Valkyrie, who can scan. And of course, it is a very, very different playstyle than what we're used to seeing. But will they fight against Alliance here? We shall see.
And what that really means, too, is that it allows them to get way more aggressive and to try to prioritize getting KP, to try to circle keep the squads like Alliance into getting into that next circle. Because in this case, looking at Alliance positioning, where can they go? They know that Aurora is to their left. They know that there's a squad in the construction building at the moment. I do believe that maybe E6, who's sharing some of that building space with Horizon. So the only other option here is to try to take that Skyward Dive, but actually cancels it out immediately. Maybe not happy about the fact that their head was elevated above that crate, so little to no cover that could have easily gotten canceled.
Yeah, perfect timing to pull up the map. I was going to make a point. With these Fragment East or West finishes, it is so difficult to be an edge team. Why?
Yeah.
Because all of the buildings are already taken. Teams are going to rotate early. They're going to secure their buildings. They're going to secure their positioning for late game. And good luck Valk ulting and finding God spot, because a team is going to be camping with Watson or with some defensive legends. There's going to be a tough Valk ult that's going to come through for Alliance. We'll see where they end up. I'm interested to follow their journey here through this Valk ult if they take it, which they likely will here in a moment. Not sure where they're going to end up because there's not a whole lot of land available.
They have to take it. They have no other choice. If they decide to walk this in, they're going to get pinched by the squad like Nightmare Esports, who are off to their right past that choke point that you currently saw Alliance in. So I am expecting the Skyward Dive. We're just going to have to see where they end up going. Nightmare Esports, though, one of the squads that likes to take up some of these building spaces. Nice shots with the G7, with that 3-time scope. Gets the crack, at least closes in the gap right now without getting pressured out. But again, they are in the line of sight of other squads like Aurora to their left and E6 that have that construction building side. Game Ward, though, in a fight themselves. Psychop getting that knock.
Oh, that's massive. It's a 3v3 fight between Game Ward and Vexed Gaming, and I think it's a clean 3v3, no third party just yet. Tyler, last alive for his team, is in a 1v2, I believe. This will be an early exit and a big surprise here if Game Ward is able to finish. Tyler with the Kraber in his hands, needs to make a play, hits the body shot, but that's not going to be enough here. Vexed is out to the hands of Game Ward, a team that we said needs to perform today. Well, guess what? They just performed against the #1 kills leader in all of Emea, but the third party will come through, and that'll be goodbye and good night likely here as the Fire Beavers will capitalize.
Yeah, Game Ward in such a difficult position, an easy spot to get third party here on the edge of the circle. As you can see, the circle closing into their backs. Fire Beavers, though, backing up from this fight themselves. They don't want to get circle kept because this is a position where they're going to have to give up high ground, and they're going to be in the line of sight of any of the squads that are rotating from the east side of the map away from Fragment East.
That's right. Game Ward, I think, will survive, but it's a three-way fight. It's Na'Vi, it's Fire Beavers, and Game Ward. Game Ward survives for now, has one player left, I believe. And it looks like Fire Beavers and Na'Vi will be able to hit reset as well, so both of them were able to join in on that KP. This is our only Fuse team, one of our few Fuse teams on this lobby, and there's going to be the final full kill on Rugby of Na'Vi. So Na'Vi actually takes one casualty. Fire Beavers is the king of the hill. They'll be the last ones to survive.
I think they're trying to get one last straggler, actually, from Na'Vi who managed to get away. I'm not too sure who that one rat is, as Game Ward unfortunately get deleted. They try to exit out of that circle, but right into the hands of that lava. Corpa get taken out as well. And if you take a look at this circle here, Follow, this is going to be chaotic. Fire Beavers are in a pretty good spot, but we've seen the circle sometimes end on top of that bridge, which means that there's going to be little to no cover for a lot of these squads that are rocking the Watson. But that crypto is going to definitely come in clutch when it comes to negating that Seer ult that's going to be coming out at the very end.
That's right. Look how much of this final circle is the center lava from the split of Fragment to east and west. It'll be a brutal late game. You called it perfectly, Vicky. But one team that has been brutal in this mid game has been Fire Beavers in terms of their ability to third party, pick up kills along the way, and they have 6 kills to their name. Not done yet. The Fuse Q is going to come through, and just like that, more damage will be done. Nades will follow. This is why Fuse is so powerful. This is why we've seen so many teams rocking that Fuse to success, and just like that, Fire Beavers gets another kill to their name.
I get tilted sometimes when that knuckle cluster comes out. It's all the massive damage that comes in to clear up so much space from that Fuse tactical. Now Fire Beavers, though, putting themselves a bit in the middle by that marketplace. They need to fully send it on this squad. After getting that knock, they're going to be able to go all the way in. The black hole coming in as well from OJ Ryan, and he's going to be able to move in off the back end. Nice split push here from both the Fire Beavers members.
That's right, but 2 members are going to go down. OJ Rain going to be the last alive, a 1v1. He's going to connect for 1, needs to win this. Somehow with 20 HP, that's going to be it. Fire Beavers gets eliminated. V2 survives. We talked about French teams. V2 trying to prove that they're one of the best French teams in Emea, as Zidane, Joke, and co will survive that fight against FB.
See a black hole coming in right here too, as V2 need to go for a quick reset, wondering who that straggler is off to the side that's trying to contest V2. But congratulations to V2, not only taking care of Fire Beavers, but with that rotation behind them, they're able to get in a way better spot and avoid getting pinched, very similarly to what happened to Fire Beavers when they just pushed a little too far forward.
A wee body landed nearby.
Keep following V2 here. As the team that took out the kill leader in the lobby, Fire Beavers. 11 squads remain, and again, we mentioned these fragment finishes are certainly brutal, as you don't have a ton of availability, a ton of real estate to your name to be able to survive, and the teams that already rotated early have that positioning. Teams that play edge, well, this V2 is one of them. They're still alive and well. And then you take a look at the top ticker on your screen, all those scrolling team names, you can see who's still alive, who's still in it. Well, guess what? IG is one of them. We know they're a team that likes to rotate early and find positioning, and you better believe they're one of these teams that have gotten one of the god spots in this map.
Na'Vi finally out too. Sanya was able to wrap for a really long time after losing out on 2 of their members in the very early portion of that fight that happened before that last circle closed out. Nightmare Esports, one of my favorite teams, honestly, to watch right here, because they've been very interesting in changing up their own game plan, whether it be fighting edge or trying to settle down inside some of these buildings. But they are literally in the middle of the fight, in the chaos. They know that their backs are closed off, so they don't have to worry about any spot obviously being on the top of the construction building site. So they're playing off the high ground with other spots playing right underneath them.
That's right, this will be a tough rotation. I'm interested to see how they play it. Let's jump into our first listen of the Emea Pro League today, presented by WD Black.
Masz select, 3.
Dobra,
Już.
Syringa nie macie nadal, tak?
Nie, ja też nie mam.
Nie.
Zobacz.
Ja medkita chyba kupuję na to.
No
Nie
to
wiem.
nie daj medkita,
Dobra, masz.
Słuchajcie, klejmbują znowu. Też?
Oddaję
Szukają
noka
nas
złotego. Limek.
Ja wezmę, bo ja odsłonką.
Dobra, grajcie. Słuchajcie, plan jest taki. Musimy prawo jakoś zabić, dobra? Oni dojadą teraz. Musimy prawo
Dalej
kurwa
piłę
wejść.
tutaj.
Od tej strony,
Lecą,
dobra?
open. Stuwa pierwszy, horizon.
Leży! Nice.
Dobra, leżą.
Od prawej, dobra, od prawej. Możemy stać długo tutaj, chodźcie, do mnie,
tak,
do mnie.
bardzo długo.
Ja nie mam ulta jeszcze.
Walka zero, walka.
Daję skana zaraz.
Możemy bić wszystko, panowie.
Ultuję,
wlecieli.
ultuję.
Gausy crack.
Przed nami. Chodźcie na nich.
Go, pierdolcie się. Na mnie. 0-1 knock. 0 drugi knock. Nice.
Ja padam.
Nie dostańcie knocka. Go do przodu,
Idźcie do przodu, do minów, Seven.
Do minów.
I pralę musisz postawić. Schowaj się, pinieć.
Nie mam pali.
Stoj tu. Ja szukam medów, kurwa. Nie ma.
Box pusty, bez medów.
Ja healuję syringem. Utrzymaj się, to jest zajebista gra.
Możecie wygrać tę grę jako duo nawet.
Ja cię piknę zaraz, chyba.
Nie pikniesz mnie w tym zonie.
Zrobię to.
Masz wspierę?
Typy są na dole, Sereni. Wspieraj
A
stopę.
mamy w sumie, no.
Kraka ma.
Idę po ciebie.
Walka flash.
That's insane. Oh my god, they're gonna res him?
And there you have it. Nightmare Esports showing some love to the Polish Apex community with our top Polish team. Denze last alive. Gonna get that shield bat off, which will keep him alive for now. We'll see if he can heal back to full. He's getting absolutely griefed right now by this squad. The Valk Q comes through. JMW connects for a knock of his own. IG is very well positioned. I'd love to do a quick scan around to see where other teams are on this map. But right now, very well poised. Our Alliance and IG, I believe, in this one. Yeah,
Nightmare
with
is
this.
going
Reply Totem.
crazy right now here too. They're also gonna get that res. They go knockdown. Reply Totem gets the knock here right underneath with E6. Reply Totem being able to take this high ground here too, Paula, is such a good spot. Although they are gonna have to worry about the squad that's probably holding the high ground across the bridge, they're gonna be able to hold this advantage with the Watson fences here as too. So the Horizon Q is gonna be able to go all the way up. You're gonna have to worry about the gravity lift with some of these squads, but the Watson fences are gonna be able to negate any sort of pressure for any of these squads that want to delete them from this building.
That's right. We missed the Alliance Valkyl, but they found themselves in center map anyways. 2 members alive, though. Effect's going to have to do something insane. He gets knocked. Hockey's the IGL, the captain of this team, last alive. But guess what? It's IG taking the positioning from them. Effect got a knock on JMW. Nightmare was somehow able to res back to full. 7 squads remain, but IG will be taken out.
Oh, and you get the replicator for some natural cover. IG getting taken out is great news for Reply Totem because that was the squad that was holding the high ground on the other side of the bridge. The circle closing in right behind their back, so they have to exit eventually. They're going to get funneled out into the line of sight of the likes of Nightmare Esports playing underneath on the low ground.
6-8 picks up one in the kill feed as well. VZN still alive and fragging. They get 2 kills to their name. Sharp gonna have to do something insane. The Italian, what can he do? 20 HP left. Gets the shield swap. Yes, he does. And manages to maybe get the res as well, but there's too much chaos right now. Jazz still alive, but VZN is center map frying with 12 kills. They are picking up right where they left off last tournament, Vicky.
VZN popping up like you were talking about before. They needed to perform, and they're doing just that with Nags being on this roster. They clean up Reply Totem. This leaves 3 squads left. Alliance being only Hockey's the solo. Nightmare Esports versus VZN, and it's looking like VZN are trying to take this with open arms.
Talk about the way that they're doing it. They're untouched. Look at their health right now. Zane finally gets tagged up, but overall, VZN did that with relative ease, given how brutal of a late game zone that was. I don't know how they pulled that off. What a game for VZN. We highlighted them perfectly. Their stock is rising. They're getting better and better each Pro League day, and it is showing VZN with a pop-off game number 1.
They needed that, and they're going to be able to stay with that consistency on World's Edge. I'm excited to see what VZN's got in store for us because they had a heavy KP win game in that game number